What's Radiant's ban plan anyway? Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Dire's turn to pick. It's Radiant's turn to pick. Assassin. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Radiant's pick. Dire should pick now. Ancient apparition. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. It's Dire's turn to ban.
Dark Seer.
Ten seconds. What's Radiant's ban plan anyway? Ten seconds. Just who? Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Radiant's turn to ban. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Dire's turn to ban. Ten seconds. It's Radiant's turn. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Radiant's pick. Dire should pick now. Puck! 10 seconds. 5 seconds. It's Radiant's turn to pick.
Disruptor.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds. It's Dire's turn to pick.
Praise King.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds. Just who will Dire Man?
Juggernaut.
Ten seconds. What's Radiant's ban plan anyway? Just who will Dire Man? Ten seconds. It's Radiant's turn.
Radiant team ban.
We're still in, Tidehunter's still in, Axe still in.
Slaughter comes.
Slaughter's still
Slaughter
in.
is good as well. Yeah, I like Centaur if the tiny is a 4 because you're not really reliant on that early blink timing. Like you can just kind of stampede in and get your tiny stun off. Like he kind of covers him for a while.
The thing about these last two bans for IG is that they're protecting exactly what the Jug would struggle against later on in the game, which is heavy single target physical damage, which if he gets past the early magic damage, great, he can outcarry them. But once you put that in the equation, that's why I mentioned Slardar. It's definitely not as ideal as the other two options that they banned out, just because Slardar Tiny's kind of a, I'd say a mediocre lane, to say the least, just two melee heroes that rely on being point blank range to do anything. But if they can make it so Jug is nullified like 30 minutes plus, they're going to look really, really good if they get that just one opening for Wraith King to get the Radiance plus the next item. And they're good, smooth sailing from there, I think.
Agreed.
Just a DK, I think could work here. You're scared of picking like tanky heroes against the AA, but they go mag.
Ooh, they go Jug mag. I like it.
A lot of circles.
Putting their cards on Juggernaut. I like it.
There's a big wombo combo potential on the side of IG. I always feel like if you're playing with a stand-in, right? Communication is probably going to be the thing that is the hardest to get used to, maybe. So this is going to be a true test to see what would it.
Radiant team pick. Radiant team pick.
Well, it's definitely position 5, and I don't think it's going to be that bad for them. Like, I think they're already used to the coach being very involved in the process.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm really liking IG's draft so far, personally.
I like it as well. Let's see what Nico is going to play then. They're taking their time for sure. This is their bonus time already, by the way. So we're going to see an Axe come out. Tanky hero, fast hero, as you said, Effie. Is this the one you like to see here?
Axe is definitely good here. He's really good against Juggernauts. I kind of liked Centaur a little bit more just because of the way that he pairs with Tiny, but I do think the Axe has more merits than Centaur when it comes to killing Juggernaut, for sure.
Just makes it harder for Jug to enter fights. I think the Centaur would be nice earlier, but the Axe will be better later as a RP counter. Both heroes are reasonable for the sake because you can buy the Ags on Centaur, but now it's just there's really not that many stuns on IG. So if like the Wraith King is able to tank just a couple spells, the low cooldown stuns coming out from the Tiny as well as the Axe, I think will play really well into the long drawn out fights for Execration, including on top of the fact that they'll probably go Radiance on the Wraith King. So I personally like Execution's draft a lot. I still think IG is the better team, but it really is going to come down to execution in fights. It's an easy cop-out as an analyst, but I think this one is really important.
I think if Disruptor can get Puck in his Static Storm, like, they should be able to fight this fine. So I personally like IG's draft for it. I think their execution is very good. They're very disciplined. I think they'll be able to pull it off, personally.
Yeah, you feel like they have the execution, what it takes, because I mean, we like both of their drafts, right? Both the draft from Execration and from IG. Maybe IG's draft is requiring a little more higher execution levels, but they did win the last major, and we know that they can do that, right? And if the position 5 is the easiest to replace, a follow-up, I mean, I hear all cases that IG is going to be taking this first game.
To be fair, if it's execution-based, I literally had to make a video on the fact that IG 5-man Delta split Size's black hole to win that last major, so I'll trust them in team fights.
And you're gonna imagine that the coach had something to do with that in terms of practicing and knowing exactly who to go with where.
Absolutely.
All right, well, with that in mind, let's find out if they can execute this first game of this 2-game series between IG and Execration. We're heading over to a commentary duo of Sunsfan and Cinnamon.
You know what's awkward about this, Cinderin? I never know when I'm supposed to talk. Like, am I supposed to talk right away? Do I wait for the camera to get to our beautiful faces?
You're supposed to talk as little as possible.
All right, I just heard Shiva in the background saying right away, so I'm going to continue to just wait awkwardly until our faces are shown, and then we start speaking. But IG versus Execration, obviously.
I have a better idea.
Okay, you want to keep going on your tangent? Go ahead.
How about you don't talk when the camera comes to either, and you just sit there?
Do you want a solo cast?
No, I also just sit there.
Yeah, that's an easy fire right there. But IG versus Execration, Cinderman. IG obviously won the last major, but then the wild cards are missing a player, as the panel talked about. I mean, position 5, Ollie for Super. Like, what's your opinion in terms of, you've been around the block once or twice?
Super is a really good player, and he plays a great support. So I don't think it kind of depends how good shape he's in, right? Like, it's one thing to stand in a position you've played before, but like if you're well trained in Dota recently, some coaches don't play very much and other coaches play a lot. An example that really comes to mind for me was when Seb was coaching OG. He was playing so much Dota. He was playing he was playing 10 or 12 hours a day while coaching that team because he really, really wanted to know what he was talking about and leading the team and helping them. If it's similar with Super that he plays a lot, I don't know. But if you're in that kind of shape and you play your role, it's not like stepping in with a team that you're comfortable with shouldn't be too difficult.
I mean, it's another one of those instances where it's still kind of a wild card because you don't know exactly how it's going to go.
Right.
Like, normally, if this was their full lineup, we'd say there should be no issue. But then again, they are in the wild card, so there is that aspect of they've already made it to TI. How much does this matter? I actually don't like that narrative very much because I mean, Secret is the other team, right? That already made TI, and people were kind of discussing that fact. The first time that Secret was together, people don't remember this. Puppy, Kuroki, No Tail, S4. Who's there? Like, they got rid of Fly. I forget who they actually got for him, but
No, I don't remember. They had Arteezy like 5 times, so it might have been him.
Yeah, one of those times they had Arteezy, but they actually were dominating so much that before TI, they kind of took a break, right? Where they would just, they'd pub and whatnot, but they wouldn't play against other teams. They kind of take it easy because they don't want to share strats, and they got destroyed at TI. So I don't think like you can just take time off and be okay with that. I really, especially in today's day, like that was like 5 years ago. The game is so much more competitive than it used to be.
I think the players are also a little bit more hungry because of the absence of events, right? Like with COVID, there being less opportunities. When you finally get to go to LAN, you really want to show off what you can do, right? Like this is what you're passionate about. You spend, I don't know how many years of your life playing this game. You finally get to play LAN for the first time in months. Like, of course, they're not here to lose, right? It doesn't look good. They're not like hiding strats or whatever. The whole hiding strats thing is also a bit of a weird thing because, we have patches in Dota regularly, so strategies change. A strategy you have now that's amazing might be really bad in 2 months because your heroes get nerfed. So, like, there's not really any point in not bringing your best game and getting your best result.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, that pocket strats really, they're very inconsistent in use because of that fact, right? Like, you go into a tournament, maybe you have a pocket strat, like, okay, if we're down a game or we're up a game, like, depending on how confident we are, we get this level 1 Roche. We do something where we take that tower at the beginning of the game, but we don't really get to see that very often. I think it's just because of how often the game changes in terms of the meta, or is it teams are just...
It's just also harder than it used to be, right? Like with the changes to drafting, with the amount of bans, with the stop yourself, with the banning.
You can see the intro.
Him staring. You actually threatened production to switch scenes.
Production. Getting the game out of the way, so I'm very happy about that.
Right.
As we see Nico on this, I am very excited. Every time I see Axe, it's just such a cool here. The fact that you can go for the Shard Manta now, which, I don't know, is that like something you do literally every game, or is it still somewhat game dependent? I know it was kind of nerfed, but
I think it's game dependent. I would like to see a Blade Mail this game. I think Blade Mail is really good against Mag plus melee carry. They do so much damage to themselves with it. It's kind of, if you're choosing Axe over other offlaners this game, it's specifically because you're targeting the Jug, right? Like FA pointed out, it's a very good matchup for the Axe, both in lane and in game, and I think the Blade Mail will play in there. Just to clarify about the reason we're on camera for so long, I believe there was a little bit of a pause. If you're new here and you're going to watch our future games, don't worry, we will not be rambling like that at the beginning of every game. You'll get your Dota. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be fine.
Why are you prepping people? It's more fun for them to think that we're holding the game hostage so we can talk about nothing useful. There's definitely 2 or 3 people out there that feel that way.
That's the ultimate anime villain. The superpower of just keeping everyone hostage.
We're trying to stick to the theme. I am supposed to be the villain.
You are.
My character is a villain.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know that.
Definitely a death stare into the camera, so you did great.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job. Let's try to cap off the drafts a little bit. The panel is talking about them a lot. I think they pretty much hit the nail on the head with most of the stuff. I do feel like IG's lineup has a little bit of a higher execution ceiling. It's harder to pull off, but when you do it, it has options that the Radiant can't, where the Radiant is more clear cut. You have these initiation stuns, you have like Blink Call, you have Coil, you have Tiny Combo into Ice Blast. All of these work very well, but IG has some exceptional counterplay. There's some really cool skewer opportunities against these melee heroes. You have Carapace, which can combo break literally every hero on the Radiant.
Yep.
And I would really like to not see Wraith King go for the Radiance. BSJ was talking about it. I think it's a little bit just because it's like the default thing for Wraith Kings to go for a lot of the time. I think this is a really bad Radiance game. You're against Nyx, who's going to Carapace you, and you're against Wall. Not advisable. I would love to see something like an Armlet Deso build come out of Palos. Maybe you get a Dagger and try to play this high tempo. And with an Armlet Deso, you also kill Roche very fast, which is nice on the Radiant. So
that's true. Roche advantage always gives you a better chance. That's the smartest thing I've ever said, Cinderin. If you kill Roche, you have a better chance of winning. I don't know if you knew that.
That depends if you die all 5 heroes for the kill.
If you just get it, it's fine.
No, that's not fine.
All right, the second Roche is worth though. The Shard
depends if you pick up the items after.
Yeah, you pick up. Of course, you pick up the items. That's the whole point.
You said you kill them.
All right, it's implied. As we have a battle hunger applied from Nico onto Mr. Super, their coach, of course. We'll see how he performs in this tournament, but seems to be, I mean, based on the panel and your discussion, it sounds like you're expecting basically them not to miss much of a beat as a result.
I mean, there's probably some sort of a sacrifice, right? Like, it's not going to be full-on Ollie mode, but I don't think it's far from, like, Super... Again, it really comes down to how much he's been playing, right? If he's been playing actively, I'm not worried for them.
What are your thoughts on Magnus? As we're going to see...
Oh, RR.
Yeah, quite a bit of trouble. He will be taken out. It's going to be first blood going the way of IG as Kaka. Now, he will be caught by the Wraith Fire Blast. Whoa.
Good sticks.
Right.
Not enough.
Not nearly enough. But JT, again, this is a hero that... I mean, do they have kill potential on this Darkseer? Once he hits level 3, once the Ion Shell starts to just push the waves constantly?
You can definitely, like, most melee carries will be struggling a little bit against these lanes. One of the great examples of someone who won't is AniMajor, because he has Blink and the Spell Shield, but...
Toss.
Nice toss.
Into the Avalanche. We don't have call yet on Nico, but Super will go down.
Ollie wouldn't have died there. That's what I'm saying.
As Fly, or Fly, I should say, pops the Blade Fury, but to no real avail, so kind of a waste there in all honesty. Yeah, I'd love to see a level 3 call taken here from Nico once he hits. That's going to help quite a bit.
That's definitely something that wasn't very popular for Axis to do, like just a month ago. But with the new build-up where you often rush the Vanguard and you play primarily against melee carries, you can definitely see a 1-1-1 build working out a lot of the time.
I mean, speaking of the Vanguard, do you think the nerfs made like much of a difference at all? Like, it feels like it was very minor.
Not that much. Oh, Emo, do you not want the other one? Is he saving it for later?
Yeah, why not? Efficiency.
I guess.
He's confident nobody's going to go up that cliff. I mean, he just showed that he's going there, so they will be communicating on the other side that rune's definitely gone.
That's fair.
It's Kaka. Oh, Cold Feet will actually proc Vacuum.
Oh, good Vacuum.
Was enough to save him for now, but Kaka Salve comes in as well, and it's very close, but he will tumble. RR in the meantime getting chased by JT and this Ion Shell.
Does he have Vacuum?
Cold Feet again.
No, it doesn't.
And Vacuum has like a 2-minute cooldown, basically. He's just chasing down Palos right now. Under the tier 1, he's going to get the kill. Probably worth, but a double kill for Vincenzo, and I believe he's just going to carry now. So Wraith King will be the support hero. And I mean, if you've seen Aghanim Scepter on AA anytime, it's pretty strong.
I know in your pub games when the support gets a couple of kills, they just start taking lane farm and they're like, you go woods now. Well,
yeah, that's Slack special, actually.
Not,
anytime you play
No, the Slack special is picking Venom and buying 5 boots.
Yeah, that's true. 5 different boots.
Yeah, it was not good. He went 0-19 and he was definitely the reason we lost that game.
Wow, what a call out there. Goodness.
Yeah. Well, if you deserve it, you deserve it.
That's true. That's true.
You know the saying, sometimes you got to call a spade, right? Slacks is a spade.
This is true. Is Nico.
Nice toss.
Yep, toss out of the range of the Blade Fury, but the Thunderstrike is continuing to proc. There's the Avalanche, slowing them down. Looks like Nico will survive as a result.
Very, very nice from BDZ there.
Not to be confused with the great B-Diz of NA.
Yep.
Very illustrious career.
He quit professional Dota and became a bodybuilder.
Is that true?
No, he's just in really good shape.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that actually. That's true. Yo Wei, I'm going to try to remember how to say his name because it was specifically threatened to us, I believe, by their manager. Oh, Fly pops that Blade Fury. Looks like he gets the kill, but will he survive? The Healing Word comes out. BDZ trying to chase it down. It might be his demise. See if they can find him, though, as the Healing Word will make its way around. So get some nice regen here.
To the tower.
Suicide to the tower. So 4-4.
Very action-packed. We had this many kills in the last game at minute 17, I think.
That's true. It is an Axe and it is a Darkseer, so it feels like they're just forcing it. Those heroes just fits that play style.
I really enjoy watching laning stages like this where people are very much trying to pressure rather than just settling, you know? And it is very lineup based whether you can do this or not, but when you have heroes that can put pressure, I feel like that's the most enjoyable part of Dota, is just seeing people go at it. Sure, many viewers would agree. Some people also like watching people in the jungle for 25 minutes, but that's,
I mean, I missed the level 1 LC jungle, I won't lie, Synderen. Yeah. Definitely a degenerate.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
And have 0 impact on the game, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of a given, your LC jungle.
Yep. But what are your thoughts on Darkseer this patch? Been seeing it a little bit more. It was kind of lost for a couple patches, I want to say. I feel like the Aghanims, I'm not sure how fast you get it, but it feels like a purchase you get pretty consistently. The Ion Shell, you get the double charges, it lasts longer, and you get the 300 HP per target.
I think, as usual, Darkseer's a team-dependent hero. There's a lot of offlaners where it feels like you can just pick them in any lineup. I don't think Darkseer is one of those. Like, you want a good Ion Shell carrier, you want a good combo with Vacuum ideally, and to make it a really good Darkseer game, you also want a good matchup in the safe lane. And he actually has all three this game. So he has Ion Shell carriers in Mag and Jug, and Pix. He has a lane matchup against a melee carry that he fares relatively well against. I wouldn't say Wraith King is the best, but you're going to farm. And they have the Vacuum combo into Static Storm, into Nyx Stun, into RP. So ticks all the boxes for a great Darkseer game. If you can pull it off like that and you have a player on it, I think the hero is great this patch. Like you said, the Axe is one of my favorite Axe of the game right now. I think it's very, very strong. Gives you a great timing. Fly.
Yep, Nico getting chased down.
He's
Thunderstrike.
dead, actually.
Looks like the Blade Fury should be enough with that last right click, but there's the coil rotation from Yoei, and a nice toss out of the break, and Yoei takes that kill for himself. So at least they get something out of it. I mean, that's a Jug dead. That's pretty big.
It is. Axe is suffering a little bit, though. He's rushing that Vanguard, so he doesn't have boots, and he can't really create any distance to the Jugger. It's very, very easy for him to
It's always awkward when you know you need to get Vanguard super fast, but then you're against a freaking Juggernaut that just chases you down.
Yeah.
It's like, do I go boots? Do I not?
I wonder if there's a case to be made for buying the Vitality booster before the Ring of Health, actually, because the way you die is 100 to 0, right? So maybe the Vit booster could have saved him there instead of the Ring. But obviously, it feels good to have the Ring against all the consistent harassment. Anyway, bottom lane, they're going to see a tiny rotation. This is probably going to be a very unexpected play for IG. They are not ready whatsoever for this.
Wraith Fire Blast into the cold feet, but just out of range for JT and that surge. There's the Avatos back into the fray. Impale comes up, but Kaka looks like he'll end up dropping here to the last right click of RR. So nice rotation.
He's level 6.
Oh wow, that's an Ice Blast coming out. Doesn't look like it'll connect though.
Not.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's pretty clear that it did not based on the minimap, but
I know. I was
like the suspense.
I had nothing to say.
It's good.
So I said something.
Nico now has that Vanguard, so he's going to be pretty tough to kill. I mean, what is your build on Juggernaut these days? Like, what do you like to see? Because, like, we see a lot of, I mean, it depends on the game, but Maelstrom seems to be pretty common. Obviously, Manta is very common, or an SNY, depending on which is better that specific game.
Right. So I think Juggernaut maybe in a way follows a bit of the same trend as Ursa we talked about in game 1 today, where Ursa went Diffusal and does that a lot, where Jugger, instead of going Battle Fury, will try to play a faster timing. So items like Yasha, full-on SNY, Manta, Diffusal is an option sometimes, and the Maelstrom. If you want to go the farm heavy route, I think Maelstrom is probably usually the best one, because once you go Battle Fury, you're really hard committed to farming, right? With the Maelstrom, you're actually a relatively good asset in fights too, with your Omni Slash doing a lot of damage. Yeah. So I would say, for a well-roundedness sake, I would like to see a Maelstrom. In this game, he's with Mag, so obviously has that cleave benefit, and that makes agility a lot better than usual. Because he gets the extra damage, so we will see him rushing a Yasha here.
Yeah, another surge comes out.
It's a good dodge.
Dodge on the Ice Blast, but there's the toss. As it is an AA big toss, so maybe not the most useful.
You think it would shatter from the fall?
Yeah, that's true. They should add that as a mechanic. Now that they got rid of the toss buyback thing, they need to make something equally stupid.
Yep.
Make up for it, I think. I mean, the Pudge hook is still in the game.
Don't worry. It'll get fixed in 4 years when it happens in an important game.
I think that's important. It wasn't really a fix, though.
No.
Like, it was clearly a feature because they didn't say fix in the patch notes, which seems to be their MO. So, very cool to see. And Emo right now at top of the net worth along with Fly. So IG off to, you know, a decent start in terms of just getting their farm right now. Emo with the Empower level 4 ready to go. Oh, they're going to find Nico. I mean, he's pretty tanky, but you have 3 members of IG here. And they're going to expend RP on top of that, just in case, into the skewer.
My kill.
I mean, he wants to double check, you know? He's like, I'm close to blink. Let me just get that out there.
No, the thing I love about that is not that he only skewers him. He skewers him so far away into the tower that he almost got his team out of XP range. That would have been pretty cool.
Coil waning rift, though, so they end up trading here. And the Juggernaut is a very big kill again. So that's the second death now for Fly. So Execration doing a good job of kind of shutting him down to a degree.
I like Yoei's movements this game. He's doing a very good job at being quick. Sure, he doesn't counteract the play as it is happening for Axe. He can't get there that fast, but he makes sure the trade happens both times now that they commit onto Axe in the top lane. And in the meantime, he still connects back to mid relatively fast here to push this mid tower. And I really like what they're doing here. They're spawning the skeletons mid together with the siege creep. He's a little bit scared of committing. They got some decent chip damage on the tower, at least. Probably get it down to about half.
Yeah, but during this time we see I mean, they killed Juggernaut a couple times, but with Empower, he's going to be able to obviously farm that up again pretty quick.
Good
see the Skewer in, and the Impale to stop things out, and as the Avalanche was the only spell able to be used there from BDZ. So yeah, 1K net worth advantage for IG right now, and like with this type of pace, which team would you favor? Like we're seeing a bunch of kills, but it feels like most of it is just trading back and forth.
Right. So just strictly off of lineup, I think G breaking even is good at this point. They will be able to transition and get this Empower farm on the Jugger and get ahead probably. So just strictly lineup based, I would say that. I also think IG on paper probably the stronger team, so maybe a little bit of an extra plus for them. They will lose their top tier 1 tower though. First tower of the game goes the way of Execration. Even though the Axe has been killed twice, he still gets a 12-minute tower. That's not too shabby.
Yep.
We'll be bottling up the Arcane Rune here. He's actually baiting Emo. Beautiful.
Well, into the AA blast, not even needing that AA ult, but yeah, big kill onto Emo, and they'll turn this into a tier 1 tower in all likelihood if Kaka perhaps can get a deny. The TP support is coming, and yeah, the Spike Carapace won't be there in time, and the Static Storm will completely whiff. As Youe is just super aggressive past the tier 1 tower. Even the Wraith King has come to play. They're going to find 2 kills off the top of that.
Just awesome play from Youe there. So first of all, he gets Carapaced, so he anticipates that the stun is coming. But not only that, he throws out his orb so he can get out of the Static Storm too. So he gets the mid tower, and he got the kill on the mag. Just big play from Execration so far in this game out of that guy.
Yeah, definitely looking good for.
They have a top 2 net worth all of a sudden. And now with the 2 towers down, I think, RP.
Yep, into the Skewer. This is a very tanky Axe. He's going to attempt to TP out. It looks like he'll be successful. And that's an RP down. Of course, Omni Slash. I mean, it was available. Level 1 Omni Slash is probably enough to get that kill in time.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake for Mimo. He has to save one of the spells. Oh, well, he did. Did he used both he used RP and Skewer, right? Yeah, he had the Arcane Rune. Right. So, yeah, just has to save one of them there. A little bit of a mistake, because I don't think Axe gets out of that. You have the Skewer slow, you have the Shockwave to keep him in place against Jug, and then you can get an RP after. Got a little bit eager.
I actually missed this type of a Magnus, like the Magnus mid where you go Blink into Echo Saber, and then I assume like a BB, or if you want to get really greedy, Daedalus or something like that. Super fun to watch.
This is such a BKB game for both teams, though. I really want that item. And Palos is going the armlet.
Exactly what you asked for.
Very, very happy. Choice.
He's going to find the entirety of IG. Still 1 life. Yeah, he's armlet toggling pretty well. That's going to be 1 life. Of course, that's level 1. Static Storm on top, into the kinetic field. There's the Omni Slash. Actually gets it onto the AA, so that's probably the best case scenario for Execration. Now the TP support comes. Youe with that coil. Keeps everybody in place for now, but now he's the one in trouble. It's like they'll find him with that Skewer. The toss back in with the Glimpse, so they end up having a little party as BDZ ends up being the 3rd dead for Execration. It looked pretty good when the Omni Slash was on top of A. I mean, at the very least, Wraith King survives.
Yeah, I love the play from Vincenzo to try to tank the Omni. That was very clearly on purpose, and it did keep the Wraith King alive, but it's got a little... Axe could not connect to this play, so effectively it was just, I believe, a 5-on-4, right? The whole of IG was down here. They're going to get the tower, and they're going to back off. And RP not expended in that fight. So keep that in mind. There is a possible move to be made.
And he's about to pick up his Echo Saber, so that's a decent power spike. And on top of that, they got the Wraith King ult. So that is, I believe, the longest ultimate cooldown in the entire game, the level 1 reincarnation. So
far.
You have plenty of time to try to take him out again.
It's only 200 seconds now. It used to be 300.
It used to be, yeah.
It was like...
It was absurd.
Insanely long, but still 200 seconds. That almost makes it not the longest anymore, I think, right?
200 seconds,
What's Black Hole? Isn't it 3? Am I imagining? Is it 3 minutes? Level 1? Black Hole is also 200. They're actually tied.
Wow. Today I learned. Thank you, Cinderin.
But you're still technically correct. It's just tied longest.
Oh, with the RP into the Skewer. Oh, the ball. The 3 to the A. Big wombo combo. IG getting decimated in this fight as Kaka will be the 3rd to fall. It ended up being a great bait. Let me just take the RP and the Skewer and we win the fight. Great job by Execration.
What an awesome call. Damn. That's one of those things. Effie was talking about this on the panel, right? It's such to treat playing AA when you have like 3 friends that all set up Ice Blast. There's just so many ways, and that one was just a total layup. 3-man call into Ice Blast.
Great reference. Thank you.
I was thinking about it mainly in terms of volleyball, not basketball. Don't flatter yourself, but
volleyball has a layup.
Isn't it called a layup when you set it up for the smash in the front?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's right. You don't
watch volleyball.
You don't watch.
I thought you were
sports.
inspired by the one half of basketball you watched with me finally.
Yeah, it was pretty inspiring. You kept saying that the judge was being super unfair and going against you when it was in fact completely even. So
no, that's not true.
I learned a lot about fanship.
They're not called judges, they're refs.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
I mean, he basically had a hammer, so
in a way they do.
Yeah.
So 1K net worth lead for Execration right now. I mean, looking at both lineups, obviously, I guess Wraith King, both lineups can probably do Roche decently well, but once Wraith King gets that death side, it becomes way more in favor of Execration. If they can just get a pick off or two, then Roche advantage is clearly that for them.
Be scared of the wombo combo. Even if you do kill a hero on IG's side, they have a great Roche contesting lineup. Darkseer is always great in the pit because you can just throw the wall from fog, get information.
Wow, this is a really early Ags, by the way, for Darkseer. It's literally first item.
It's that good, especially in this
really
game. I love the choice to get this first. You generally see either Darkseer's or auras. In this game, you could have also opted for, say, a pipe. It's the massive magic from Tiny Puck AA. But the Ags is an indirect pipe as long as you enter the fight with the shells on, because everyone has extra max HP, right? So you're able to probably hit really strong timing here. They're gonna smoke. Okay, Vincenzo breaking that. He's gonna die, but that's
that is mega worth if he's the only one that dies here. Now we're gonna see the call here on the next assassin, but the wall put in place by KT into the mist impale. Nico, he's very healthy. Kaka not so much. Looks like he'll be chased down. Likely will be called here.
Oh, they failed.
Yeah, they missed it, but they in the end, I believe. AA's taken out. Wraith King. That's the first ult into the RP. Juggernaut still alive. Kicked off the blade here at the last moment. Doing a really good job of kiting all this damage. And Palace is going to be taken out in quick succession, but it's going to be a trade. They do get the Juggernaut yet again.
That was a little bit bizarre to watch relative to the crispness of the rest of the game. There were so many things missed there.
Nyx lived, actually.
Nyx completely whiffed the stun on the back wall. A little bit of miscommunication for both teams. Got a little bit messy.
It was Kale, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. A lot of lag. Somehow.
I mean, there's no LAN mode, technically, right?
Technically, you're right.
Which is kind of weird, but hasn't been a problem, so that is perfectly fine.
That would have been really great for IG if Flyfly had lived, but he did end up going down just barely in the end.
What do you think of this puck build, by the way?
I think it's really, really good.
I mean, it seems to be like the pretty much the standard,
It's
right?
the go-to.
Witchblade into Kaya Sange.
Yeah, the first 2 items are pretty much the norm, right? You usually go Blink to Witchblade or the other way around, and then you will see either Kaya Sange or sometimes rare occasions BKB. If it's like a really bad, you could argue for BKB here, right? You're against Disruptor Nyx. It wouldn't be a bad choice, I think. Sometimes you will see Yules, sometimes you will see Lincolns, depending on the game. Kaya Sange is an all-round item. It gives you more damage and it gives you that status resistance that can be very, very nice against these stuns, but it doesn't help against Static Storm. So if he does get caught in this with a Kaya Sange, yeah, it's great. You have that status resist. It does nothing really. So he will have to play around that. All in all, I honestly really like BKB as a choice because it means he limits his problems to literally one, his RP. He could ignore everything else when he goes in with a lot of freedom and not get counterplayed. I think other players would go, he's
with the Impale. Doesn't even bother with the Vendetta, just try to get into a Static Storm. AA Blast is coming. Looks like Axe will fall in addition. A 2-for-0 to start things out. And BDZ looks to be next on the list as Flyfly comes into the fray. This is literally all 5 members of IG. And a triple kill for Emo. So he knows that he gets the farm yet again to get that. I mean, he's pretty close to BKB. And this could be a Roche. This could be a pretty big deal.
It really could. They do have damage here. They have double Iron Shells, Healing Ward. They're good to go.
And this, I feel like this is almost like steal of Roche because now that Deso's online for Wraith King.
In a way, he's even getting zoned off here. Kaka misses the Carapace timing.
Yeah.
He's actually in trouble now.
He might die, but this could be the death of Palos instead. As he gets skewered onto the other side of the map, and his ult is up right now. That'll be death number 1. And now the TP support in the form of Execration, but the big glimpse back. Looks like find the AA Blast at the very least to take out the Juggernaut yet again. And Super will follow. And the coil applied to the Darkseer. A surge in a moment. See You can get away with just this. Wraithfire Blast will connect it to the Illusion Orb into the call, and a nice turn for Execration, and this could be their Roche next.
I do not like that play from IG one bit. I think sending Nyx up there to scout and just defend against, just get information, I really like that. I thought that's what they were going for. They're going to plant Kaka there. He's just going to get your information. He misses the Carapace on Palos' crit, and then I think the call is he needs help, and they walk over. But you got to realize the top tier 1 tower is still up for Radiant. They have 3 heroes respawning after 5 seconds. You basically set them up for 4 kills in a Roche. And this was IG's choice. There's so many options there. You can either not send the Nyx up there at all. No. You can send him up there, and then he messed up. It happens. He dies. And maybe still get Roche, or you don't go for Roche at all. This was the worst possible outcome IG could have had whatsoever. And that's
I'm not sure the exact timing, but it was pretty close to his ult not being back on the Wraith King. I don't know if they were timing. It was like extremely close.
Right.
So I mean, if they get the kill, maybe it's a different outcome.
Did they even kill him once? They did kill him once?
Kill him once.
They did kill him once.
Cool down right now again.
I feel like even if they do that, they don't get the Roche, right? Like if they kill him off and they trade for Nyx, the defense is there from Execration to hold the Roche. So that's a very big moment in the game we just saw there.
And Execration, obviously with that just on the Wraith King. And he's going for Basher. Sange into Basher. So, I mean, we talked about this last game, but Sange has been nerfed over and over and over, and it's still being picked up pretty much every game. I'm not sure at what point it just becomes not worth it, but not to be... I mean, it's not just for the status resist on him, but obviously because his life steal just gets amplified, so it's just a lot of benefits.
What if you lost health every second like Armlet while you carry a Sange? Then I think people would stop picking it up.
Yeah, that's a great nerf. I think it should be on the Ice Frog beta testing team.
I think so too.
We're gonna see a call. AA Blast is coming.
That is not a connection.
He's gonna dodge it. Yeah, perhaps expecting some TPs a little bit earlier. Glimpse back into the kinetic field. With the BKB, Emo was able to clean them up pretty easily.
Little bit messy.
Yeah.
From both teams, like IG's mistake. This was a very optimistic go as well from the Axe, with all these heroes missing in this pretty precarious position next to the 2-2. BDZ gonna look to stop Jugger. Has no TP. So Fly is an interesting position here. Stranded.
And they know he doesn't have a TP. Perhaps they're playing a little bit coy, but at least assume they know he doesn't have a TP.
If he checked him there, he should be dead now.
Yeah.
I actually think he didn't realize.
Huh. Well, now he's going to show. And
like, wait a minute.
Nice. All right. Well, reinforcements have arrived on IG, so this will be a tier 1 top. I mean, 23 minutes. Tier 1 top still available. I mean, the mid tower for Execration is also still there.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think of this build on Wraith King? Sange into Basher. Like, what do you turn the Sange into? Like a halberd later?
Yeah, you probably get halberd against Jugger, right? I don't know if you go S and Y. The status resist is pretty good. For Wraith King, it's a bit different than for Puck, right? Because having the status resist, you have the 2 lives, so even if you get Static Storm first life, the status resist matters on your second one.
Unless you get a refresher on Disruptor Cinder, and what did you think about that?
I did not think about that.
No.
That's because when I play Disruptor, I do never get a refresher.
No, maybe that's your mistake.
That is...
Think about that?
My bad. I'll have refresher next game.
Very good. Have you ever seen Disruptor Shard in a game? It's the Thunder Shard on teammates.
Yes, I have.
Is it good?
It's okay, I think. It's not great.
I mean, it's like it gives you a speed boost and I think like attack speed, I want to say.
Yeah.
Temporary.
And it makes the AoE bigger, I think, around you as well, right? So you deal more, like you hit a larger area.
It's kind of cool. I really like that not to go off on a tangent, but the shards, they've really made like these heroes that have been pigeonholed into a specific type of game style. Just change it, like Dazzle, for example. Like you can sheep a bunch of illusions, and we talked about Bane last series. I think it just opens up so many different possibilities and versatility for a lot of these heroes. Wraith King, on the other hand, it's just a talent. The no mana for ult, and you get some skeletons when you ult as well. Whoopee.
Yeah. It wouldn't be on topic for Wraith King to have complexity, right?
That's true. But he does have 2 clickables now.
He does.
So.
And his third skill is not chance.
That's true.
So you can actually...
Man, what a quality of life. I feel bad for Chaos Knight because he had to take the bullet for that, but because that was literally his skill. They just flip-flopped him. But it feels so nice knowing that you can get a last hit when you're really bad at the game, Cinder, and I'm sure you can relate. Anyway, Palos is going to be pounding upon this tier 2 bottom lane as Cinderin is brooding in the background.
I'm just sad that I'm bad at the game. Just leave me alone.
Well, the truth, but he's bad at the game.
I mean, that is actually true. That's why we're all sad together.
Yes, a very sad existence we have in this community.
Oh, damn, this life's just nutty.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a smoke here from IG. They're going to give up this tower, but then they're going to try to use it to get a backstab, I think. Maybe not. Do they actually not have smokes?
I just realized he has Shard on Wraith King already. Wow. I mean, they have mana burn.
Yeah. He's protecting himself, basically.
Yeah.
Good Ice Blast.
A blast. Flyfly's going to pop his Blade Fury. Here comes Emo. That is a big kill onto the axe to start things off. First slice for Palace about to come out, but he's actually surviving a little bit longer. There's the coil onto Nyx Assassin. Omni Slash to follow. Flyfly trying to beat down BDZ. There's finally the RP's reserved just for Puck. Will be enough. Indeed, it 3 for 1. Kill the Nyx Assassin to start the fight, but it's going to cost them 4 of their members. IG. This is such a back and forth game.
Yeah, it was very crucial that Flyfly got off that Omni Slash there. He was about to get coiled, and if he gets coiled there, I think that fight goes... It could easily have gone Execration's way. Like, every fight is very, very close. But getting that Omni Slash off, afterwards he gets off the healing ward, the Ice Blast expires, and they're able to...
I really like that Emo is being super patient with the RPs. So many times you see 1 hero, 2 heroes, you just go for it, but he's going specifically for Puck because they know that they will have a hard time killing him.
RPing Wraith King just sucks, right? Like, it just doesn't feel good. You don't want to use it on him. I think if he's presented with the option of RPing, say, Axe plus Tiny, I think he'll go for it. It's the 2 really key stuns catches that Execration have outside of the Puck. So that could have easily worked too, but...
Ooh, ceremonial robe on Mr. Magnus as well. I don't know if he's going to keep it, but...
It's not bad.
Yeah, seems like a pretty good Magnus item. Well, he gives it up, though. He just loves that bullwhip. I mean, some people have like this ADD in the game where they just have to click something, and bullwhip is a really good...
That's true.
Neutral item.
And some people just love self-flagellation.
That's... Okay. I mean, that's an Arkosh Gaming thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Did you check Arkosh's games? Did they have bullwhip in every game they won?
Well, that's a good question. We should look that up.
Yep.
Definitely a very interesting statistic that we'll keep in mind for the future.
Kaka's dead.
Yep, coil into AA Blast. Yoe. Oh, we have a Static Storm into Kinetic Field, though. Is this enough to take out the Puck? Indeed. The right clicks from Emo. My goodness.
Told you
so
Kaka's
much
dead.
Damage. Yep, you were correct. It only cost them their mid Puck, though. Whatever. And Emo is the most farmed hero on the map right now.
I think this guy has really impressed just internationally. Like, obviously they won the major, right, and everything, but Emo has... His stock has risen so much in the last, I want to say,
wow,
half a year.
Such a cool build.
This guy is super legit.
Such a cool
they're going to find... Oh, this... Yeah. They can actually just run him down.
Yeah, nobody really care, although a couple people TP in. Nico with the attempt in the call. 2 heroes there. Wraith King will get his first life expended. RP being faked out. Nico's going to be a pretty easy kill to clean up now. And I believe with that, IG is just going to fall back. Puck buys back into the game, and that's actually what predicating this fallback for IG.
Yep. But they can still reset. They have healing wards, so they're nice and healthy. They only lost Disruptor.
Yeah, they still have RP. They can definitely fight. Wraith King ult down, but it is level 3, so it'll be not too long before it's up again.
And I like this from IG, that they play aggressive in the enemy triangle here. It's 4 against 4. Sure, Axe might have a buyback and TP on the tower, but you have positional advantage. You're still very strong with the RP ready. And up.
They find it. His ult is coming back, though. Not sure if they're timing this. There's the Bloodthorn. Coil to follow, though. And Emo popped the BKB. They're just going to pound upon Paolo. So that's 1 death. It's going to cost Emo his life, though. Now Kaka in a precarious spot, as Paulus is going to come back to life and just beat him down with his stick. That's a stick, by the way, not a sword. It's a new cosmetic. Flyfly on now on the run.
I'm starting to see a pattern here, Shannon. It's almost like when they go on Wraithing first, next to something that the enemy team can TP on, it is not going well.
I mean, I don't know if it's like missed time, because his ult just came back again. It was like all of these deaths have been like relatively close.
He must have had it for a while there, right?
No. It was like 2 seconds as they were initiating on him. 2 seconds left.
He was level 19. Yeah. It's a 40-second cooldown.
I'm telling you. I literally saw it on my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, you're questioning me?
Yeah, I don't really trust you.
Fair enough. I do make up a lot of things, so it's understandable.
Right. If you give me a reason to trust you, I will.
I mean, that fight, that's a 3K comeback.
That's
like half the lead, basically.
It is really big. It almost brings Yoe to his BKB, so we will be seeing that.
He needs that so bad.
He needs it, because once he has this, like, yes, he's getting caught in RP, but the reason that he's getting caught in RP is that has to play around the rest of the heroes, right? If he has this BKB, he can coil the Magnus and just go on the backline, for example, because then he knows that they can't stop him if Mag is controlled. Right now, he's always at risk of getting caught or whatever, and the BKB will definitely help him out a lot. Just 1K to go. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, still, again, it's kind of a weird game to watch. Teams have like moments of brilliance and moments of like complete facepalm, right? It's very bizarre that you can have this amount of those moments in the same game from both teams. Because,
did you say he was finishing BKB on Puck? Because he has an A on disc right now.
Wait, did he
switch it up? Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, he changed his mind.
I mean, I don't dislike this either. I mean, he's getting blown up in like a lot of these fights.
Yeah, so this protects him against the RP. But if he gets RP now, he can just get static stormed.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know. I don't think this is the best choice.
Yeah. Okay, Axe is gonna jump in. All the pressure is going to be applied to him. A big RP onto 3, into the Blade Fury, into the Static Storm Kinetic Field combination. Axe and Tiny buy back into the game. Puck will not have that luxury, though. Wraith King, that's the first life. I mean, IG is still pretty healthy. Omnislash hasn't even been used yet, but it's going to be used on a lot of the skeletons here. Pierre in the background trying to keep IG at bay. I believe that is the... Oh, finally the Omnislash comes out, and Nico's going to take the brunt of the damage. So the Wraith King finally dies, and it costs IG nothing. Only cooldowns. And healing ward up in 12 seconds so they can reset and just push.
The game's actually over, I'm afraid. It might just...
Jungling, Emo says, all right?
That's good.
I'm glad we got the voice lines back.
Yeah, they're in trouble. Like, if IG have the read here that there's no buybacks, I think it could go tier 4s. But they might play it safe, take one lane of barracks. I still think they should hit some tier 4s to try to force a reaction. You've got healing ward, you've got escape plans.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. So that's why I thought there was 2 Omnislash. It was a Swift Slash originally.
Right.
Like I'm not used to seeing Ags when you don't really have attack speed yet.
Right.
It's just Manta.
Yeah, he has some
kind of interesting.
And power still helps a lot too.
Yeah,
though.
true.
It's not bad. All right, they're gonna play very, very conservatively.
Roche number 2.
Yeah, they get the Roche. I think if Roche isn't up, they go for some tier 4 damage there. They're like, we'll get the other objective. I can respect this. Like,
all right, we're probably gonna see Juggernaut take the shard, okay, which is good. It's very good.
Very, very good.
I would love to see Horn Toss though. All right, I need to see Horn Toss in my life.
That is why Juggernaut will take this.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So yeah, that gives a bunch of move speed extra for Blade Fury, and you proc attacks on hits, 75% damage or something like that. So very, very strong. Of course, with Scotty, it makes it even more powerful. Typically, you see like a Maelstrom to help proc extra stuff, but that's more of an early game item. But yeah, very good shard for Juggernaut.
And they can even transition into taking top tier 2 off of this because they have the Aegis and Cheese advantage. And Execration are not interested in trying to defend this, so down it goes.
Yeah, looks like he's working towards an MKB now. Of course, they have Cheese on the old Magnus. I mean, the more games we see with just a casual Sage, the more that possibilities that's going to get nerfed again. I feel like it should not be okay to get to late game and just have a Sage. You know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't be good.
Wait, who did you say has it?
Magnus.
Magnus also has one.
Yeah.
But he didn't buy it until now, right? Or did he?
No, he had it earlier.
He had it earlier.
I mean, because he's building AC now, so.
Right.
I mean,
do you know why people are buying it largely? It's because it has status resistance, Shannon. And status resistance is a really good stat that everybody loves.
First and foremost, Cinderin is a big hater on status resistance. I personally love it because it makes BKB less good. It means you don't have to buy it literally every game, which I think is terrific for the game personally. But I believe most people will agree with me on this.
Hate is a big word.
This is true.
I have a slight dislike for status resistance.
I don't think that's true. Slight dislike is...
You know what?
You have a slight dislike of me.
It's probably because my perspective is from a support, right? And I'm like, I hate when my spells, which is the only thing you have as position 5, like later on in the game, you maybe have 1 force staff and your spells. It sucks when your spells don't even work anymore.
Yeah, but don't... I mean, I know it's not readily... what's the right way to put this? Like, the spells... Since status resistance was introduced to make up for it. You realize that, right?
Talents definitely help.
And talents, sure.
Yeah.
And then there's spell amp, and there's all this extra garbage for it.
I don't like this. It's kind of like a swap of roles where you're being logical and being emotional. So can you please just say, just make some noises?
All right, I want a second Roche in the game.
Yeah, of course. Yes, you do.
Thank you.
Yep, and you wanted to drop Ion Cannon Beacon.
That sounds great. I mean, hey, you know, something that people were kind of mad about when it first came out that they don't really care about is Scan. Like, if you think about it, that is really weird that that's in Dota still. Like, if I think of it, even the name is weird, right?
It's pretty weird.
But it's just, you know, it's one of those things you just get used to. This Fly on the doorstep of Execration. Of course, this is a 2-game series for the wildcards. Emo is not going to be able to get that skewer going.
That would have been a potentially game-ending skewer. They were not in a position to help Wraith King there at all. Axis top.
Yep.
His teammates were all the way deep in the base. Good spin into the instant silence from the Mindbreaker.
Yep, that's good stuff. It's a nice little combination.
Puck has kind of compromised his position entirely against Static Storm.
Hello? The Bloodthorn, he had to use it off, and now the Static Storm comes into play. Aeondis does proc with a double impale into the Omni Slash, or probably a Swift Slash for all I know. They're going to be able to take out the puck, and I know he does not have buyback, and there's the RP onto 2. This should be GG, as IG taking this pretty convincingly after kind of a, I want to say a big back and forth for the first 15-20 minutes.
All right. And that is why I didn't like Aeondis very much there. At least if you make that play, right? Like the moment you're in and you're relying on your Aeondis to save you, you're against Static Storm. You're just gonna die. Like there's just no save there. If he has a BKB, maybe it's a different story. But
GG!
GG
it's called apparently. So yeah, IG takes game 1, which, you know, there's some question marks about, you know, with the substitution and all for Ollie and whatnot, that, you know, how strong will they be? But they did win the last major, even with
5 seconds. It's Dire's turn to ban. What's Radiant's ban plan anyway? It's Dire's turn.
Game, so I think in that regard, I like their chances moving forward.
Well, I will see what I think about their chances after the draft, because we do have one in front of us right now. We got a couple of bans coming out on the side of Execration, who is Dire this time around. We got the Timbersaw and Leshrac banned by them as a first pick Treant Protector, and Invictus Gaming goes for the ban on the Nyx Assassin and the Brood Mama, while first picking Mars. Phoenix even. Okay, so Mars Phoenix in Europe kind of fell off. How has it been doing in China? Do we know? Do we have a bit of a record on that?
In the DPC, I don't think I saw Mars and Phoenix specifically together quite often, but Mars is still very popular, and so is Phoenix. And this is like a very IG draft. Like, it's comfortable. They've played it so many times.
Yeah, we saw a lot at the
solid
last
opener.
major too. It's just a combo that if you're like theory crafting, what can we pick? Second pick, some wombo combo team fight. Mars Phoenix is just always going to be on the table.
But isn't it kind of like, okay, great, Mars Phoenix, everybody buy BKB, and then they're useless? Sort of. Maybe
is,
not entirely useless, but...
You know what I like about this offlane duo here is that it's most likely an offlane duo. Sometimes Phoenix can be 5. But the strategy behind Tree, that I know Tree gets picked a ton in China, we haven't seen it too much in EU when I was watching, is your carry leaves lane, and he living armors the tower, and says, you will not take this, because I'm sitting in the trees. There is no better duo, I think, to say, screw you guys sitting in the trees.
Hey, that's true.
Level 6. So it really could be as simple as we wanted like a decent combo that is the only thing we can think of that counters like the only thing they've presented to us so far.
5 seconds.
And it is important to take those early tier 1s against Tree, because if you don't commit all full to 0 on those towers, Tree's so punishing there.
Yep.
So, Execration go for the Lina, just obviously a very good pick against Phoenix. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't go for their classic opener, which I was hoping to see, which is like their Grimstroke Doom. They love that combination. They play it so much, but it looks like they just want to stick to their, I don't know, like stick to the basics, go for what's solid.
I think they pick the Tree, so that might be that. Maybe
Tree is a very, very popular
They may be
pick,
more
right?
scared of IG's Tree than they are confident in their own Grim. And the problem I have with Lina here is on paper, yes, it's great against the Egg, but range heroes against the Egg, when you have a Mars, it is just not the same, because you have the Arena and the Bulwark. Even if you manage to get out like within the Arena or whatever to hit the Egg, he can just pop that Bulwark and 70% of your ranged attacks won't hit that Egg. So it's like in theory it's great, but usually I like Jugs and Lifestealers, for instance, to be the ones that are responsible, which they already banned out the Lifestealer, most likely will ban out something like a Gyro maybe, just because you want it's like you want a ranged hero in lane with the Tree, but then you also want a ranged hero that doesn't mind being point blank range because of the fact that it needed to be close enough to the Egg to hit it. So
It's Dire's turn to ban.
Look anything, but if it were a Lina core, which I would like to see, because that's my favorite Lina, I do like the combination with Treant Protector.
are you like the Datalai building, Lina? Like
Multiple Datalai. I like 5 Datalai Lina.
Okay, 5 Datalai. You do have a lot of built-in attack speed.
Yeah, like our pub versus Kunkka. 3
That guy really committed
3
to
Datalai.
Datalai.
Yeah. I do like the Datalai.
I don't think we're going to see that, guys. Call me crazy, but...
Datalai.
She's got to be careful, because T-Gov's in the back saying, Brian mentioned his pubs.
All right, we got the Puck ban as the last ban coming out from Execration.
Lifestealer ban, like you talked about.
And,
It's Radiant's turn.
Tide's another nice combo
Ancient
breaker.
Declaration. Oh, we actually, AA banned. Kind of Just forgot about that.
They think
Hero.
it's tree 4 then? So, I get that they just have to ban it, I guess, if they're going to...
Especially if they're going to pick Morph, yeah.
Of course, and A is very good against Sunray too. That's something nice about him.
Okay, so they go for the Morph. You do want natural Manta builders against tree. If you're going to pick a carry, or like, this is nice because it's also a flex pick and potentially go mid. Manta is the item you just have to buy. There's no exceptions against tree. The BKB piercing root from his ultimate, just Manta it off. So the other option is getting a Manta and a Satanic builder, because now you can, the Satanic offers a Dispel, and Morphling does both those things. And they ban PL themselves on Execration. Usually these illusion mana burn heroes are super annoying for Morphling now that attribute shift.
So what is a good answer to the Morphling now?
Magnus.
Looks like they're just taking a page out of IG's book and just going Mag plus Void comes to mind here. Mag faces Void. Usually you want melee or ranged heroes with tree though. Is there a ranged hero?
I do like Faceless Void with Lena.
Okay.
Like, I think it's pretty strong. It has its merits. I think was it IG that played it? Lena Void?
The Luna Void?
The Lena Void.
Lena Void.
It was played at DPC. It actually went quite well. I liked Void here.
They're taking their time, actually. Going into their bonus time quite heavily.
About it.
It does make me think the Mag Lena's a lane, though, because we saw that from Liquid in the EU region a bajillion times. It's incredibly scary.
We got Disruptor back again. Looks like we found Super's most comfortable hero.
It looks like this is the hero he practiced.
I mean, if it works, why not, right? And at some point, maybe, if they're good enough, they're going to force people to ban it. And then they have wasted a ban of the Disruptor. So, yeah, why not?
I don't think it's nearly as potent this game as it was last game.
I know. No wombo combo, but...
Yeah, you had the combo, and you also had the one guy that he was obviously supposed to Static Storm every single fight, that being the Puck. And he did that. But this game, not nearly as straightforward to execute. So I will be much more concerned, especially when the player is a coach who hasn't been playing as much Dota.
Yeah.
Talked about it, hadn't played a club in like 6 months prior to this event. So with that in mind, it's similar to the Axe's job last game. His job was not straightforward on the Axe, and that's why you see them slip up in the middle of team fights, because those are intense moments. You don't have more than even half a second to think about what you're going to do, and when you know you're going to use it on one guy, okay, you're going to do that correct. But in this case, they could just pick a carry that doesn't really die to Disruptor. Like, you can just pick an early BKB builder. You can pick the Jug if you want. It doesn't scale amazingly versus Morph.
But then at least you got a Jug Mag.
Yeah, you got Jug Mag against Phoenix. Like, that seems fine with me. Maybe they're concerned about lanes. Like, Jug Tree is not exactly like a lane I would be writing home about, but...
I also quite like Disruptor versus Magnus. Like, if you're out of the RP, you can drop the Static Storm, stop him from skewering back.
I did not see the Yowei Invoker coming.
That's pretty greedy, because they're already setting up for like a Mag combo and then also an Invoker.
So we know it's Selena support now too. I saw that Yowei has been playing a lot of Invoker in his pubs, but I thought maybe it could be just for fun, but it looks like they want to bust it out here. There is merit to like Wex Invoker versus Morphling.
Yeah, the mana burn. I mentioned illusion mana burn heroes, and I guess they take it from the mid lane.
He does that job well, but didn't Invoker get nerfed recently?
Yeah, they nerfed his cold snap, like how the intervals in which you get stunned, and then they also nerfed his alacrity buff. So like the alacrity plus empower, these like buff heavy on all in on one guy isn't nearly as good as it used to be. They banned Jug. I would be shocked if they hadn't done that. They probably are going to ban Faceless Void too, since we already mentioned the hero and you also have Invoker in the equation.
This has to be a Wex Invoker, right?
Yeah, almost certainly, because you need somebody to make that space, because you got a lot of people to take it. You more so need a guy that rotates.
Potential with Magnus too. Like, maybe we can see some really cool combos coming out. That would be fun.
Yeah, you can start Wex and then inevitably line up your maxed Exort when you get the Ags, like second, third items. So you don't have to like all in Quas Wex in terms of your build. You can just use it for the first 15 minutes of the game.
I like this TA ban because it is a very good TA game.
It is an incredibly good TA game. They have all stuns that you can react to, and that's when I think TA really shines. Is just you have refraction. They pop cold snap on you. You see the mag shockwaving to set you up to get RP'd. You just blink away.
They do have living armor, but whatever. You don't care.
They're actually just giving them Faceless Void.
Why not?
Disruptor's like on paper pretty good against it, but that's still surprising to me.
There's an anti-mage ban coming out too.
5 seconds.
I would have thought that anti-mage was like personally way too greedy and like not the hero they were looking to ban. But I can definitely see its merits like inherently versus Morphling.
And they go for the Void.
I think you have to. I think it was kind of just given to them.
Right.
Yeah.
IG knew this, they had to know this was coming, right?
This one is obvious.
I mean, no offense, but if we see it coming, they're
That's
gonna
always
see it
my
coming too.
But they probably like wanted them to pick it. Maybe they just are confident playing against it.
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
5 seconds.
All right, let's see one then. Last hero coming out. Is this going to be an emo morph or fly morph?
I would much rather it be a Nemo morph.
I want the fly.
Oh.
You got it against Invoker. That's a good lane matchup. Lena Mag, please do not put me on morph against that. That's all I'm thinking. But in terms of like whatever their perfect 10th pick is, that's where they'll put it. But
Okay. We got the Void Spirit, so it looks like a fly morph to me.
once again, I'm wrong. What can you do?
Well, the fly morph is so good. It's like legendary, dude. It's like he's like the morph player.
I'm not even going to defend myself here. It's not even worth it because
You don't
you're
need
just
to.
Right, I'm wrong. That's how it is.
You're right all the time, bro. All the time.
I'm not used to my panelists trying to make me feel better. This is making me
You're great. You're like right a lot.
No, the thing about the Morphling pick being third, that they had the bans to protect it, and they were confident on both of their cores. Like they're super strong on Morphling, on Fly as well as Emo. So they clearly wanted this like early jump. They wanted low cooldown jump.
Yeah.
Because they had this wombo combo team fight from the Mars Phoenix, but other than the arena itself, they didn't really have early playmaking potential. That's what I see coming out. And you have to have that quick pace of the game against this Invoker Void combo. You can't let them stall out the game just waiting to ult you and Cataclysm you off cooldowns.
I would have loved IG's draft if instead of Disruptor, they had maybe like an Abaddon or an Oracle, just like that extra layer of security for the Morphling in case he gets RP'd. But I mean, maybe they know something that I don't, you know? This is what works for them.
So you're going for
I'll do IG.
IG? Yeah. How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I tentatively went for Execration last game. I'm going for Execration like hard this game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would be very happy if they won.
I think that it would be hype if they win first off, so I'll like emotionally bias against this one.
Yeah.
But also, like I think that based on the lack of cleanliness we saw in the first game, if one team were to mess up once or twice, it'd be the most costly. It'd be IG.
And you feel like maybe Nico has been set up a little bit more for success on his mag this time around compared to his Axe previous game. We were maybe a little overly harsh, but again, there was a lot of pressure on him. How's he going to do this time?
I think
his job will be easier.
He's much more of a buffer. I think he can afford to actually just go like Greaves pipe kind of items rather than actually building the blink. Like eventually you buy it, but it's not really his job to initiate with the vision from the tree and the chrono from the Faceless Void.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's find out what's happening in this game, too, if we're going to have another draw, or if IG will take this first series for them 2-0. We're heading over to our commentary duo of Synerin and Sunsfan.
Thank you, Shiver. I am now talking instantly because you got very, very angry with me when I did not talk. My name is Sunsfan. Joining me is Synerin. Synerin, are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure you're okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Everything seems perfectly normal to me.
I'm ready.
This is IG versus Execration game number 2. Of course, IG took game 1 in pretty convincing fashion. We're going to see Super, I believe, on Disruptor again.
Yep.
Might have, I mean, I'm not sure how big his hero pool is, but
so far it's 1.
Yeah, so far 1. So,
and that's
gotta
enough.
Start somewhere.
If your hero doesn't get banned, 1 is enough. If anyone has ever watched Admiral Bulldog stream, that is the proof right there. Yeah, and then when your hero starts getting banned, you just start playing 4K unranked. Okay. Let us have a look at the draft.
Man, you like to just rip apart other streamers. Is this in order to try to incite people or entice people to come to your stream?
It's called clout chasing. You'll get it.
Oh,
all right.
That seems like an NA thing.
Let's have a look. So I will respectfully very much disagree with BSJ in this game because whenever I see lineups like...
Could you... sorry, I hate to interrupt. Could you disrespectfully
disagree?
It's not
because he's a streamer, okay? That has nothing to do with it. So basically, when I see lineups like Execrations where you have like 4 major AoE ultis, but no natural way of setting it up, I find a lot of the times you find yourself in these awkward spots where everyone is waiting for each other and nobody can really go first. You know what I mean? Like you have Overgrowth, RP, Tornado EMP, and Chrono that all kind of want to follow up.
Right.
Who is starting the fight here? Like we're assuming it's a Quaswex Invoker, right? He went Quas level 1, so I'm guessing that's where we're going with this. But if like let's imagine the mid was a Dragon Knight, just to give you an example, right? Simple targeted stun starts the fight. The enemy team needs to respond, and that's when your big cavalry can come in with their huge ultis. But right now, the Magnus, that could almost even be a kill. So the Magnus and the Treant and the Void will be looking for the same kind of opportunities, and they'll kind of be falling over each other. That doesn't mean that has to happen. These strategies win, of course they do, but just in my own experience of watching and playing with these strategies, they miss more often than they hit. So I'm a little bit hesitant to. Whereas you look the other way, you have a very simple setup. You have Void Spirit that starts the fight, you have Glimpse to bring people back, and then you have your follow-up with Mars Phoenix. That's a great AoE combo. It's a little bit more straightforward.
Easier to execute.
I think so.
Maybe not reliant on the ults as much.
Right, and that's the other thing. Even if you do pull off the fight Execration, right? Spells are cooldown, your lineup's pretty weak.
Yeah.
Like you don't bring much to the table except an Invoker. Mag without RP is not that strong. Void without Chrono is not that strong. Treant without Overgrowth is not that strong.
Yep.
So
fair enough. We'll see though. Like I said, any lineup can definitely.
Absolutely. Like I'm not saying Execration are just like screwed, right? It's not like that at all. I'm just personally biased against these kind of lineups because I feel like their track record just isn't very good.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
We'll see if they can make it work. Yoa is at least off to a pretty good start here in mid. They're gonna trade waters, looks like, and Yoa will have a slight CS advantage. I believe is an Invoker favored matchup. When an Invoker goes Quaswex, you can purge off the Resonant Pulse and trade effectively. I obviously have the advantage of being a range 2 against melee. That will always be an advantage. So
I'm just happy that Void is back in the meta to a degree at least. Feels like once they got rid of his original Aghanim Scepter, just reduced the cooldown of his ult, he's had a real hard time coming back into the scene because so much reliance on that ult. But his new axe, well, it's not that new, but pretty freaking good. The shard, we see it picked up in NA and pretty much nowhere else. Not sure how good it is, but it's very interesting to say the least. And ever since they added damage to time dilation, it feels like it's just made him at least a better laner, which was kind of his big issue for a long period of time. But I'm really interested to see what kind of itemization they go for Void. Because we've seen like Maelstrom, we've seen Battle Fury, we've seen Mask of Man. It's like there's so many different things you can do on the hero.
I think when you're playing with Magnus, you obviously don't go Battle Fury, right? I think Tread's Maelstrom.
You don't like extra cleave, Cinderin?
I think Tread's Mom Maelstrom is really good here. You want to compensate for the fact that your Invoker's playing Quaswex, so his damage in Chrono is not going to be the best. So you kind of need to create your own destiny.
Uh-oh, Super. In a lot of trouble here. LSA did connect, and yeah, he's resistant to his own death here. And they'll give it to Nico for first blood.
All right. Now, Disruptor Morph, definitely one of the weaker lanes that we've seen today. So can't be too surprised they are losing to an absolutely bullying support in the position for Lina. This is the match.
Ooh,
great stun.
No, they had no follow-up, though.
Oh, that was very nicely placed. Bottle refill mid for Emo coming out of Super. And he will also get the top water or bottom water, whichever one he wants, since the 2v1 enables him to.
Yeah, but very even in CS, for sure. As Super's just going to deny the water rune. So, yeah, Yoe, a little bit annoyed by that. We're not going to really be a bottle carrier, but obviously those water runes are always helpful for regen and whatnot. Oh, they have been nerfed a couple times now, so maybe not as good as they used to be. But
damn, both safe laners are just actually getting. Void has 9 CS minute 420.
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
I had a pub game 2 days ago. I think I played Void and I had 9 CS minute 420, and I felt like I missed like almost everything. So if he did that this game, that's got to feel really bad because I felt really bad, and therefore it was really bad.
Great analysis.
Morph on 14, which is also not great, but it's more than 9.
Thank you, Cinderin.
You're welcome.
That's what they pay you the big bucks for.
Oh, nice Fire Spirit. That slows attack speed. That's why he didn't the core.
Are we just going to explain everything in very basic detail? As Disruptor dies, he'll be back in 14 seconds, as you can see on the top of your screen.
The enemy team got 171 gold on the Magnus.
And that exclamation point is a deny, by the way, in case you're wondering. So how long? I feel like we're playing a game of chicken here, and I will win.
Is this what it was like doing the Nubis stream?
Yeah, so many years ago. Palace is in quite a bit of trouble. Pops that wand. living armor, so shall survive. Of course, even if he's off to a bad start, you will have the Empower at some point to be able to kind of catch up into the jungle, I would assume. But
he's got 9 CS minute 5.
Yeah.
Oh, he is just not getting creeps. Like, we were looking at this Morph getting bullied. I haven't seen as much of top lane, but man, they must have been absolutely destroyed for that to be the outcome. That is not good. Despite that, Execration still in a decent position gold-wise. Obviously, they have the 2 kills. One of them being the first blood bottom that went, I believe.
Oh, fly.
Close call.
Yeah,
raindrop.
Attribute shift is a lifesaver.
100% dead without the raindrop as well. He's playing on edge. Oh wait.
Yeah, Thunderstrike onto Yoe. One more right click will suffice, but Emo does not have vision right now. There's a tornado into the TP from BDZ, but back Emo goes with that Astral Step. Had another charge, and that is a solo kill for him.
Salt in the wound, even to DD rune top afterwards. So now Invoker is susceptible to getting killed once again.
Oh my, what is that spear? How is he so far away from the tower? All right, Palos. A little time walk to safety. I'll try to turn this around to JT.
I believe that's what happens when you spear someone and you rebuke them mid-air. They can kind of like, their motion stops, but the spear still tracks.
Okay.
It makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Yes, that physics. I mean, physics in Dota are obviously quite different than the real life.
Yeah, trees are infinitely high and Arena has no height.
Yoe comes in to the top lane now, rotation, so they're going to get a kill on Takaka.
Oh, that's a kill if that hits.
Yep.
Spicy.
But I don't know if you noticed, it did not hit, in fact, Synderen.
That's correct.
Just keeping up with the newbie stream here is Fly. Getting pressure to get with the adaptive strike now that he's in full strength mode. Helps get that extra stun. I mean, if like in terms of both carries, let's just say they're basically even right now. Both have had a pretty rough time. I know that Palace is having a little bit more, but let's say they're even. Who does that favor? Like, who's worse on? Because I feel like Void at least has some fallback with the Empower at some point.
I think it's hard to say just like linearly between the 2 heroes because, like, for Execration, they have multiple ways of having these big team fight ults, but I think Void is such a crucial part of their damage that they need him to have a better game. You look at the other side, and it's easier to imagine the way kills happen, right? With a Morph that's farming in the jungle, you have Mars, Phoenix, Disruptor, Void Spirit, all 4 great skirmishers. They do well in 2v2s, 3v3s, even big-scale team fights. And Void's damage is also more item-based, right? Like, Morph can actually do decent damage with just a waveform and an adaptive strike. Even if you only have, like, treads and a Wraith Band or whatever, you contribute something. Void with no items is just, like, you're just there. So I do like I do slightly better.
JT is the first Mars Arena of the game. We'll find the tree, and the rebuke is more than enough to take him out. But Palace trying to get some distribution as Yoe is TPing in to help get this trade. And with the tornado, they should be able to ensure this kill, I would assume. But there's the glimpse. EMP, not even needed. So they do find the kill, and there's the first chrono of the game. Do they have enough damage to follow this up, though? Yoe is in range to right click, and yeah, with a couple bashes, super able to deny himself.
Bash is really good when it works every hit.
That's right.
And then you kill heroes.
I mean, the percentage isn't really that low, right?
No, that was not absurdly lucky, but a little bit. Didn't matter, though. I think it would have died regardless. Yeah, I've noticed something across these games of Execration we've seen now. I think Yoe is very, very good at TPing. A lot of mid players are, depends on your perspective, right? Some mid heroes obviously don't want to TP, so they don't.
Yeah.
But Yoe is playing these heroes that rotate, and he's very, very quick to do it. Last game we saw it on the Puck. He got 2 or 3 counter kills on the Juggernaut. In this game, he's coming top on Invoker to get both a Mars and a Disruptor kill for his team. There's very quick reactions with these.
So tell me, if he's going to do that anyway, what's the reason for not going Exort? Because you just get these Sunstrike kills. Because you have a lot of setup for it this game, like a lot.
Yeah, but you don't have any tempo then, right? Like, Exort and Invoker relies on his team to set him up, like you said, and the setup is reliant on items and levels. Whereas with Quaswax, he can kind of make the moves himself for the team. If you try to imagine that TP top, like let's say he was Exort there, I don't think those kills happen. Right. He needed to come in with a Tornado EMP for that team.
The smoke has broken. Oh, LSA is going to connect after the skewer comes through. We'll be able to find the Lina pretty easily as Fly pretty low HP, but there's the RP onto 2. Palace, of course, does not have Chronosphere. I don't know if they can take Fly out. In fact, they're just going to have to run. But I believe he was, he's building a Midas still. What do you think of this?
Interesting.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Midas on Void Spear before.
No, me neither. This, I know I'm really biased toward the Ags on this hero. I just think it's that good, but
I mean, he'll still get it probably.
Probably. I wonder if the reasoning is okay. They have so much team fight that break high ground is going to be a.
Oh,
he's fine.
Yep, dissimulate. Oh, can't get to the high ground though. We'll have to use an astral step.
So, like if you're playing against a team that has this insane team fight and high ground defense with living armor, maybe their idea is, okay, our pushing power is pretty weak. This is going to be a long game. I'll make sure I scale. And the way we take fights and get Roshan is based off of either winning a fight or forcing the enemy team to use their big cooldowns. Right. So maybe, I feel like every time you make an argument for Midas, you can almost always make an equally good argument against it. It's kind of just about like team identity and what the plan is. Because you could just as well say, well, why are you buying Midas if the enemy team has big AoE abilities? Why aren't you like trying to punish at every turn that they're on cooldown with a fast tempo item? But if this is the team read on the game, then as long as they're on the same page, the worst thing is you've cast games like this where 1 or 2 players go Midas and then they try to fight all the time.
Right.
And they just have dead net worth and they lose to a team that have cooldown heroes that are just active and ready. And it's just like, why did you buy Midas to go fight non-stop? But it's pretty quiet, right? 3 kills, 11 minutes. Yeah. I'm just going to keep farming.
And what are we looking at for Void's items? What kind of farming item is he going for?
I would reckon it is, let's see, it is going to be first item Diffusal. I mean, you can... It's a classic item against Morphling. You have power, so you can kind of compensate for the lack of farming. I was still imagining he would go for the Maelstrom, but it's kind of funny how Execration is taking the different route, right? They're like, we have the big team fight and farming line. Great,
He's super Morphling, LSA, more than enough. I mean, if they can find the avenue, they can do that every time.
Yeah. Come out of fog, get a Chrono out of nowhere. Very nice. But yeah, they're taking more of an active route with their Void. So maybe again, they have the logic that we're going to compensate for our lineup's weakness, where if we all play greedy, then nothing is going to happen. Great.
T, yeah, Mars Arena did whiff, but the glimpse brings them right back in, and the rebuke is enough. So they're able to kill the tree for the second time, I believe, this game. I mean, both Mars Arenas have been specifically for tree, so maybe not exactly what you're looking for, but nothing. And Emo going to be able to dodge that EMP, and has the haste. And of course, the Midas is in his inventory.
Are they trying this seriously? Okay. I thought he was going to try to RP from fog.
All right, skewering out. Bashes continue, but yeah, it feels like a very, very difficult kill. It did force out a TP as well, though.
Glimpse? No, not in range.
To simulate back to safety. He's just creating a lot of space with that haste rune now.
This is a huge rotation from Execration. They've brought basically all their heroes spot, except Train, who just respawned, so... They're looking for something big.
Static Storm. The kinetic field only connects on one, but this is the only hero that really matters. Yowie looks to be dead, but the egg does fall first into the RP, though. Remember, this is just a Midas. Emo, he's going to be taken out. That's a double kill for BDZ. Nice LSA. And to continue on, as Palos will be able to finish off the Disruptor in tow. So a 3-for-1. At least the Invoker got a little XP for that Phoenix kill before it dropped.
Really crucial RP. They have to catch the Void Spirit there or they lose big. But does get it off. JT will take the top tower though. Treant was not able to defend this on his own, so Mars is progressing very nicely, closing in on Blink Dagger, minute 13. It's a pretty good timing when you have Treads and Corrosion.
I mean, he's top net worth. That's
yeah, he's very.
That's a little strange. Nice to see that all too often.
I think he might also been top net worth at one point last game on Darkseer. He is having some really good performances so far. He ended the game with like, what was it? Ags, Refresher, Dagger, and one more item, I think. Got a lot of stuff.
It looks like Emo will be going for first item Mules, so can dispel Cold Snap and whatnot, and obviously set up if he wants to go for the aggressive route. I feel like the Midas is paying off already. Once we get to like 4 minutes, if the game is even relatively even, it feels like it pays for it.
That's how the item works, yeah.
Thank you, Syndran. I'm keeping it friendly for the newbies.
That's good.
Okay. Well, I did say 10 minutes, which might be too early, actually.
It technically has not paid for itself there, so you're incorrect.
Yeah, true.
Purge would have given you the exact number of seconds, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well.
All right, that's a dead trainer.
Yep. Mega dead. Emo ends up netting the kill for himself. JT, very little mana to speak of.
Well, this is a very good setup. They know there's no RP. Chrono is obviously available. All right, he's just in there.
Yep, Mars Arena comes up. We got two here stuck inside the kinetic field Static Storm combination, and Execration just getting dominated. Despite Emo going for a Midas, he is still fighting and doing just fine. And they're going to be able to clean up even more, so 4 dead overall. And this is going to be a tier 1 tower for IG.
That's like a really good example of what I was talking about earlier, right? Like you have this low commitment spell. Void Spirit goes in, he starts something, the enemy team tries to help, and that's where the big Arena, Phoenix, Egg, plus Static Storm comes into play. And Execration can't really do it in the same way. They don't have that. They have Tornado EMP, but, you know, the thing about a spell like Tornado EMP setup is that it stuns in... You know what I mean when I say it stuns everyone, right?
Yeah.
It kind of just delays the action so both teams can help. Here, when Void Spirit goes in, it's damage. It's on the mark. It goes really fast, and reaction just isn't available. No RP. They just take advantage
The fact
of
that I mean, he's doing exactly what you said you hated. He's fighting with a Midas Brown Boots. What are your thoughts on that? As long as it works, it's fine. Oh, speaking of which, it looks like he's getting saved here by the Phoenix for now. Is it going to turn this around on Apollo? So
he's fine.
Time walks all that damage. Glimpse is there as well. He's in a bit of trouble here. Spotlight jumps in, but that's the overgrowth. Palos continue to try to walk this off, but there's a skewer into the RP, onto 2. Palos gets stunned by the Aether Remnant. There's still no kills on the side. Finally, Phoenix dies. Now, looks like the Adaptive Strike is going to set things up here, as Nico will be the next on the list. So it's a 1-for-1 to start things out. JT takes Laguna Blade to the face, but just shrugs it off. And somehow, only 2 die.
Yeah.
What in the world?
That's pretty crazy. So, just to clarify what I said about the Midas, as long as the team is on the same page with how they're going to play it, I don't mind. It's when there's this disconnect where 1 or 2 people go Midas and then they don't like play on the same way in the game. It's very clear that they have a shared understanding of what they're supposed to do. Is the Midas integral to what has happened so far? I don't think so. I think he could have had literally anything here and it would have been just as good or better. This might pay off in a big way later. If
feels like an insurance policy.
Right, and if they can fight regardless, then why not? But you know, the alternative now is that he would almost have eggs. So if he felt like that would be a bigger payoff, he would have obviously.
I mean, this isn't like the Midas of old. This is an 1800 recipe. It's freaking expensive.
It is expensive to buy Midas. It's more than half an X to buy a Midas. Yeah. So.
Yep. IG smoked up, and like you said, they have very low cooldowns. They can just continue to fight over and over, and they don't even need everything to set things up. So, not sure if they're going to find anything on the
this is
smoke itself here.
It's good movement from Execration. They have a feeling the smoke's coming inside their own ward up here.
JT, yeah, he seems to be the beneficiary of the spear.
That is such a minor price to pay there. That's very, very good. It's a great death.
You know, every time we play together, you say that every time I die. Great death.
It's a great death in a different way then.
Okay. Because it just makes you smile?
No, because I traded for literally any hero in the enemy team and then it's good.
You're such a good friend.
I know, I try.
Anywho, Yoei, level 10, and we didn't really talk about the level discrepancy. What level's Emo right now with that Midas? Because that's also going to pay off.
I think he's sitting on level 13 and a half.
3 level advantage. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Oh, Glimpse back after the skewer as Nico actually makes his way out of the kinetic field, but looks like he'll take a tumble here. And Marzer, I mean, that's super low cooldown. They can just continue to fight.
It's this very clear problem, right? Where every time IG want to just look for a pickoff, it feels like, you know, if you see 2 other heroes than the guy you're going on, you feel so safe because they need the whole. They need the whole package to be able to fight. Their ability to take 2v2s, 3v3s on Execration is very limited. So they need to be so careful with how they show heroes in lane and how they push waves out to get information. Now that all their spells are up again, we might see a smoke so they can try to take the kind of fight that they want. Might wait for Void BKB though. It's very close, 300. That is a massive item against Radiant. It counters every hero.
I mean, it's good for him to survive, but he's not really doing that much damage, obviously.
He's going to get Alacrity, though.
Yeah, true.
Level 5 Wex, a lot of attack.
And power, Alacrity. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
That's pretty
a lot of buffs.
Yeah.
And Living Armor, of course. Don't forget it.
Absolutely. Also gives a lot of damage.
That's right. And that was in the last patch notes in case you missed it.
Dude, imagine.
It gives tower damage, too, right? That's how it works. We're just changing the way. He doesn't heal anything anymore. It's just all damage-based. That'll bring him back.
But they keep the name Treant Protector, but he protects nothing. He's only aggressive.
That's right.
It's kind of like, which hero is it that's completely the opposite in terms of personality of what it actually does in the game? This one, right? I'm just trying to remember which one it is.
Thanks for putting me on the spot, Cinder. I have no idea.
You know the stuff. You talk to Slacks a lot. You know
Faceless Void, he has a cosmetic that gives him a face. So that's technically the opposite of the theme.
That's kind of true.
I mean, what constitutes having a face, anyway? That's the real question. As we see a smoke here from Execration. See if they can set anything up. They're going to get a free kill on Super. There's the Alacrity, just for that last hit there, if you will.
That's something.
Yeah.
They also protect the Roche area with this move. They're obviously a little bit paranoid that Morph could be doing this with a Morbid Mask. Does he have one of those? He does indeed. Mask Manta.
I mean, that feels like it would be very risky for IG. I mean, that's the one thing that the Execration has, is they have this crazy team fight if you're grouped up in Roche Pit.
Right, but that's kind of the thing. How risky is it if it's just Morph?
If it's just Morph? Yeah.
If it's just, he probably can't solo it entirely without Slow Crest, but like if you can place Morph plus, let's say, I don't know, Morph Mars with Bulwark, and you have a buyback, yeah, I don't know, I think they could maybe still go for it, but like you said, it is risky, and I think IG are fine with the state of the game regardless. They need the Roche, they just need to force Execration to move as a unit, and then they're going to out-farm them.
So talk to me about Morphling. I'm guessing there's not going to be an Aghanim Scepter this game. I mean, is there anything, I guess, even, I'm not sure if I've seen Lina, but it feels like the Fiery Soul, after using the spells, could have decent synergy.
You need to remain Lina to have the Fiery Soul.
Oh, it doesn't?
I think so. I don't think.
Really?
I don't carry over. I could be wrong on that.
Huh. No, Kaka's going to be caught up. Oh, Static Storm is there, and the egg will be used in addition. So it's going to stun up Nico. No, he's going to just skewer out. So, I mean, that's a decent ultimate.
This has to be go time for Execration. That's two ults down.
That's two big ults down right now.
You need to go. Yeah, I like this. Just go on. Go up there. Kaka has no dive.
Yep, time dilation's there. There's a Chronosphere onto 2. He's attacking extremely slow thanks to that Fire Spirit. He's going to be able to take out the Phoenix regardless. He's going to buy back into the game immediately. That Super just getting right-clicked down by Palos, pops that BKB. And in the meantime, he does get after the Laguna Blade. Firefly getting extremely low, but will live through the engagement here. Gets LSA'd again into the RP, into the Skewer, into the Mars Arena as well. But it looks like Execration just falling apart. Invoker and Treant die. It cost a buyback from IG, but as long as you don't get team wiped into a Roche, that's kind of the big turning point. So they're going to chase down BDZ now. And can he Roche now? Is the question. I mean, all the big ults are down.
Maybe a little bit too low on resources right now to be able to pull that off, but yeah, that looked pretty promising for Execration. It was a good chrono. I don't know if you really don't want to BKB there as Palos, right? To get off the Fire Spirit, like the attack speed slow is a big problem. Okay, that is
trading spells here. Emo takes off the time dilation.
He's actually in trouble.
I'm not sure if he has any spells to use, and yeah,
nice catch.
Down he goes.
Bonus still.
And JT, I mean, that's a save your friend syndrome right there.
That just literally made it all worth it. If Execration also get Roche now, this is huge.
They do have buyback on Emo, but
it's kind of similar to the last game. Just a little bit of slip up.
Yeah. I mean, that looks like kind of overconfidence, if nothing else. Tough to say, though. I mean, this Roche is not super fast, so you still have a decent... I mean, 26 seconds, can they kill it?
Fire Spirits are really good here.
Yeah, no, there's the Alacrity finally. This will speed things up a bit.
Found the Skewer.
Oh my.
No buyback.
All right, Kaka just explodes, and I think that will make the decision for Emo a little easier. I mean, only 10 seconds left, but...
That's Roche.
Execration, first Roshan. Oh, I forgot that high fives are in the game. Oh, praise Gaben. Thank goodness. Love this stuff. Nobody's giving me high five, though, so... that feels... Would you give me high five, Syndra?
Depends what you did.
Just me existing isn't enough.
I'll think about it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so 5 minutes with that agent. That'll buy a little bit of extra time for Execration. And we talk about like they're down. I don't know. Does it feel like they're down to you right now, Execration?
No, not anymore.
I mean, I know that net worth is pretty even, but it feels like that you heavily favor the draft of IG. And based on the last game and the overall perceptions, we feel like IG is probably the better team.
Yeah, but this last 2 minutes really gifted a lot to Execration. And once you get to late game with this kind of lineup, that's when the weaknesses of having these big ultimates can fade a little bit, because you can compensate with itemization. Right? You can start buying Hex.
Oh my.
So you have a low commitment engaged, you start having talents that give you cooldown reduction or whatever it is.
Yep.
So in many ways, Execration have got over one of the hardest hurdles, and getting the first Roche is a huge boon to them as well. So I think they're in a pretty good spot. I wouldn't say they're far ahead. Like, a lot of the time you'd be like, wow, this is a late game Void with Empower and an Invoker. Like, how can they possibly lose? But they're playing against mobile heroes. Their spells can whiff. There's buybacks in play. So I wouldn't call it in the bag just yet for Execration, but definitely, they're in a good spot.
Well, Palace is definitely starting to get up there in net worth. First overall for the game, but I think the issue with like the cores from IG side is the top 3 next heroes are on their team. So that's going to be in all likelihood a lot more impact. Like Invoker feels like he's dropping off a bit. I'm not sure like what the comeback meant. I mean, the old days you go for Invoker Midas, right? As a first item. Not as common anymore. I mean, it depends on the build probably, right?
Mm-hmm. If you, it's not common to go Midas first in general. It's kind of counterintuitive. If you want to play the active role where you're really making moves, on Invoker the items pay off big time compared to Midas if you play Quaswex. So I went for the Witchblade, which is a very common thing right now on Quaswex Invoker because it exactly lines up with that playstyle. And now he's got the BK completed. It's going to help him a lot, especially against, actually, ironically, it's going to help him against Void because he's getting time dilated by the Morph every fight.
Yeah, true.
He needs a way of solving that. It also protects him against the E-Blade of Morphling himself in his natural form. And, well, it protects him against all Radiance heroes, basically. But those are, like, just some of the really big upsides.
Yeah, and Execration doing what they need to do with this Aegis. Just bulldoze these tier 2 towers. They got the one top, getting the one mid. See if they go for the one bottom next. That's exactly the order that you'd like to see Cinder in. And they'll actually just get this for free. So IG does not want to fight. Palos does have the Scotty now, so
they're going to force high ground here.
I mean, if they win a big team fight in IG base, then they could potentially just get a couple racks here. I mean, they can't get bottom without that tier 2, but this is already half HP. There's the skewer, or the spear, I should say, into the tower. They're going to take out this Aegis.
Absolutely.
He tries to get up the time walk, but a little miscommunication there from Execration. No save coming, and there's a static storm into the kinetic field. He gets empowered as if that's going to do anything for him. Past the BKB, Chronosphere onto 3, Sun to take out the Disruptor immediately. There's a huge RP onto 2, skewer back in, Morphling dead, buys back in the game, and there's the Marjorie to keep everybody in tow. JT trying to kite his way. He dropped very awkwardly there. As Execration is winning this fight big time. Buyback on a Morphling though, so Execration needs to be very careful. Invoker finally dies. And again, this Alacrity onto Palos is doing absolute work. Fly. Yep. Starting the attribute shift a little bit. Gets the Yules off. There's a skewer again. This will be a buyback onto Super. Goes down very easily. And the right click commence. Fly to Ghost Center himself. And the chase continues. They're just killing heroes one by one with very little retribution to follow. Emo finally getting a return kill. He's just going to get skewered again. I believe that Magnus has that skewer talent. He feels like he's skewering every 10 seconds. Be shocked if he doesn't have that 15 talent.
Nico's been playing a really good game. Like he got some criticism from the panel after the last game. I think it's deserved. Like I also think it was a hard game for him, but he made a couple of questionable decisions on Axe. He also made a really big play, if you remember. But he's been really good this game. A lot of these skewers are setting up for a lot of success. He gets that 2-man RP that forces the buyback out of the Morphling. And even though the gold might look similar to before, these buybacks being on cooldown is a really big deal because that is the one solution you have to this big AoE combo that Execration has is if you have second lives. They're not available next time.
I'm not sure if Emo had his Ags for that last fight because I know most of the components were on the Courier that was dead. So that delayed it by a couple minutes. That could have, not sure if he had that for that last fight, but either way. Finally gets the Ags, which you talked about, like, you get Yules into Ags, that's pretty common, but it was delayed because of the Midas, and obviously if it's going to go late game, it pays off.
Right.
I mean, Execration showing up big time now.
Also worth highlighting how morphed the first time, by the way. It was a really great, the Void.
Yeah.
The Void killing the Radiant base from IG was top tier. Super good execution of spellcasting, like, clear game plan. Blink, Mars Spear, Sunray, then we're gonna follow up with the Remnant and the E-Blade. So, nicely done there. They get a pick on Lina. It's not the biggest kill in the world, but gives them a little bit of space to breathe. You see that very thing around the bottom half of the map. Probably gonna see IG kind of set a house down there instead of venturing too much in the top half. That would be pretty dangerous without any vision. I bet they want to. Like, they know there's some cooldowns here. RP is up, but Chrono's still down. But it,
Man, look at Mars. My goodness, he's working on a heart now. I'm not used to Mars being this freaking... I feel like they drop off, at least in NA. Maybe that's just a regional. Feels like they just feed horribly after the 15-minute mark. But he's very tanky right now. He actually blinks out of the grasp here.
Yep. He got ghost walked on as well, so he realized something was up. Backed out.
And Emo now level 20, went for Boots of Trust, so even more like kind of greedy items, feels like.
He is really... He's making it as mechanical heavy on himself as possible. They do get